Two, Ashley, thanks for joining in. Victoria, maybe your first time as well. Thank you for taking the time to come in. Christina, Mindy, and everyone else that's here tonight. I know Rachel's hiding in the ranks, and I can't see everyone, so I apologize for that. So if it is your first time tuning in, we got some helpful little links over here to the side. That first one is our pirate ship link. So if you're looking to save some money on your shipping, go ahead and use that. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, we have some exclusive content that goes up there. Make sure you get subscribed to that as well. If you aren't a member of our group, you're just here watching, but you haven't joined the group yet, please do so. And we have some fantastic perks too. We'll talk about that a little bit later, as well as your opportunity to help support the show. And we'll get into that a little bit later as well. So first and foremost, I want to thank the patrons for helping make this show possible. And like I said, we'll explain that later. And I'm running so late, we're just going to dive into the news right now. So like I said, Etsy, holy cow, we never talk about Etsy, but they're making some big moves right now, and they're doing it in the area of search, which is something that I hadn't really expected. Kruti Goyal, who's the general manager of Seller Services, was having a talk with E-commerce Bytes, and he said, understanding how search works on Etsy has long been a pain point for our sellers, and we've taken that to heart. So understanding the searching process and understanding how items are categorized within search, not only on Amazon, but on eBay and even on Google, understanding how those metrics work is really great information to have as a seller. Continuing on, he said, today we are releasing our most comprehensive guide ever. Sellers will be able to differentiate fact from fiction in terms of what they can actionably do to have an impact on the visibility of their rankings in search. Holy cow. So if you guys don't know, the way that search engines work is they use these, they're called algorithms, which is just very complex math problems that also have special rules and guides as far as how items are placed one in front of the other. Now, eBay is a little bit special in the sense that if you're willing to pay a little bit of money, you can bypass that. But Google's algorithm, I mean, there's massive companies that are circled around the idea of cracking and figuring out how Google's search actually works. And with eBay, we have a thing called Cassini, which is what relegates or what determines the order in which things are placed. Things like having great titles, great images, good seller rankings, solid description, stuff to that effect can actually affect your rank. So now, I know not all of us are actually Etsy sellers, but when this guide comes out, we are going to be doing a teardown on it because I feel it's going to be somewhat useful for all sellers as a whole, regardless if you're on that platform or not. I think there's going to be a lot of great info in there. And I find it very revealing that a company like this has heard what their customers are saying. And they're saying like, hey, we want to know, excuse me, guys, we want to know what we can do as sellers to try and increase our rank, increase our visibility, increase what we can do to try and actually sell more product. And rather than being like eBay and Amazon and Google and kind of tightening down the latches on that type of information, they're just going to go ahead and give it to their customers. So what's that mean? What are the customers going to be getting? Basically, they're going to be getting information that's going to show what is the most search results that you're going to find on the Etsy site. And then also coupled with that, the most popular within each specific type of category, they're also going to be getting metrics regarding actual sell-through rates. So certain things might be searched a lot, and it could be because a lot of people actually have that. But then as far as the conversion rates, they're not going to be as high for certain ones unless people are actually going through and looking for it with the intent to buy. We got a comment from Paul, which is immediately answered by Ashley regarding what is the Etsy platform for, and I'm being told that is for vintage and handmade goods. So they have somewhat of a narrow range in the stuff that they're working with, but that's actually good for the platform. If you're somebody who is looking for a specific type of clothing and you've gone through the hassle of trying to find it on eBay and you've gone through the hassle of trying to find it on Amazon, going to a site that is specifically tailored towards clothing, it might be your best bet when it comes to finding the type of item that you're looking for. So I think that's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic that the owners of Etsy are spending the money because, I mean, it is not cheap to aggregate this type of data together to be able to help their seller base. And in turn, you got to think about this. We've talked about this many times before with eBay and Amazon. If you can help your sellers do their job of selling better, what happens? The company ends up making more money. It's a win-win the whole way through. Okay, yeah, just reading through the comments real quick. Okay, up next, more customer service jobs for eBay are coming here to America. If you guys have never heard of this, I haven't either until when I started researching for this show. We have something called eBay at Home, literally with that at symbol in it. And eBay will be providing work-from-home reps with necessary technology along a 5-week paid virtual classroom and on-the-job training for customer service positions that people are going to be able to do at their house. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, great. More reps being trained the eBay way. But I think that having a few more domestic reps could really help. But I don't think 50 is going to make a darn bit of difference. I really think that this is some type of just way to get in the news. I don't think 50 is going to have any impact. And honest to God, like when you look at the roll of the dice as of right now, I think they have somewhere in the area of 2,000 or 3,000 international reps just in India to help service the accounts here in America. We're not going to roll into one of those 50 American reps here. But they started this process over in, where was it? Somewhere over in Europe. I think it was in Sweden. They had a batch of 50 that they started out there, and they said it was a success. But they said eBay is immediately going to be hiring 40 workers in Akron, Ohio, and is inviting 80 existing customer service employees currently based in Salt Lake City, Utah, Austin, Texas facilities to join the eBay at Home program. So they're going to be shuffling some of their other execs or other domestic seller assistants around as well. And they said that by the end of 2019, they hope to hire over 300 more people. But again, I don't think it's going to make an impact. Paul Griff said, I want that job. I don't think I want that job. I don't know. It would be really, really nice if we had direct line of access to some of these domestic representatives. I can certainly see that there's going to be somebody on the back end who's going to be doing possibly some things they shouldn't be doing with that kind of power domestically. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens. Up next, eBay talked about tightening up their security, but it's not for you and me. And I hope you guys don't mind. I am hammering through these news articles right now because there's just a bunch of small things going on, but there's nothing big going on right now. And Mindy says, and how do they choose customer service? OMG, you and Akron, Ohio. Yeah, is it Akron? I'm sorry. It's one of the other. So eBay is deciding that they're going to tighten up security. And when I read that headline, I was super excited because there's been issues with security breaches on the site for a long time, which I kind of don't blame them. It's an absolutely massive site to try and hammer down and get secure and everything like that. But when I actually delved into the story, they were actually talking about building up security at their physical building. Those of you who don't know, there was an incident that happened in April over at the YouTube location. There was a disgruntled content creator who ran in there and shot the place up. So it was like super unfortunate. And I guess eBay got a little bit of the scare in them because, boy, is there a lot of disgruntled eBay sellers. So when it comes to that, they decided that they're going to be putting up a 7-foot high security fence the entire way around the building. And now they're going to be using gated entry for the front and back for any vehicles and people that are going to be coming on site. So you're going to be looking at like high levels of security clearance, even just to get in there. I'm still looking forward to that day when they invite me down there to come chit chat with them, because the eBay headquarters, if you guys don't know, it's only about 2.5 hours away from where I live right now. And I'm surprised I haven't, you know what? I should make it a point to jog on down there before they get that wall up and see if somebody there will actually sit down and talk with me. I think it would be it'd be a nice thing. So in other news, you guys know how we talked about how PayPal is leaving the scene here over the next, the next few years. Before 2021, they're going to be stepping off the platform because eBay is going to be going their own direction. They're going to be utilizing a company called Adyen to handle all their payment processing. And we've talked about this at great length many times before. Well, there's a couple of things that are going to be happening that might be positive for you. And I want you guys to know that if any point during the show you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. It's a live Q&A. So we got this little thing up here. Ask your questions in the comments below, and I'll make sure to get to them. Mindy Coy says, LOL, postal bomb there, shipping the eBay way. And yeah, sorry about that pronunciation. It's just, I'm from California, and we got a bunch of cities here that are a pain in the butt to pronounce for anyone living outside of the area. Let me see here. So, as I said, PayPal, they're doing that conversion. They're doing that switch over. But we have a new player coming to the market. We actually have two players coming to the market that are trying to fill that void. And when I say that void, I'm talking about how with Adyen, you're going to be looking at a 4+ day lead time to get your money after you sell an item. And if you're like me and you want to be able to use those funds immediately, you want to start investing them into your next buy, or if you're a brand new seller, this can be pretty frustrating for you. So here's some options that are coming out. With Payability, those of you who don't know who they are a financial tech company. And just basically think of them as being like a PayPal startup in a sense. I mean, they're a big brand. They're a multi-million-dollar brand, but they're nowhere near the PayPal scale. But they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to make an impression within the market. And it made an announcement earlier. It says, with the Payability Seller Visa card, marketplace payouts are available for use more quickly than ever before, finally catching up to broader industry standards. From restocking the inventory to spending on advertising to capitalizing on the next great buying opportunity, the Payability Seller Visa card allows merchants to conduct business with zero lag time, which I don't think it's going to be zero, but we'll see. They also said that it's going to provide 2% cash back on purchases, and Payability has negotiated exclusive cashback deals with up to 20% off companies that can help sellers grow their e-commerce business. And I already know what they're talking about. They're talking about things like Vistaprint, and maybe some, like what else? Companies that help with pack and ship supplies and labels and stuff to that effect as well. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Having a third-party company that's trying to fill the shoes of PayPal to be able to get payments out to you quicker after this transition happens. So like I said, it's going to be a real interesting period of time moving forward, seeing what's going to be happening with the whole payment processing thing. So I'm going to take a cooler here real quick, guys. So I was asked earlier this week, we got some more group reseller drama stuff going on. And we're going to tear into that a little bit later. But I was asked to put together a video outlining how to use pirate ship with your Dymo 450 label printer. And I went ahead and got a video put together. It's currently unlisted on YouTube. I'm just waiting for final approval before we launch it out for the general public. But I thought I'd go ahead and play that for you guys right now, in case you're curious and watching it. It's going to be 3.5 minutes. It's nothing crazy, but I thought you guys might enjoy it. So feel free to check this out. Let me know what you think. So I see you're having a little bit of trouble with your label printer. Well, no worries. I'm here to help save the day. So the integration process coming across from eBay over to pirate ship can be a bit of a challenging one. We're used to using our 99019 labels on our Dymo 300, 400, 450, turbos, expresses, etc. But getting them to work on the first try over on pirate ship can be troublesome. I've created a little bit of a guide to help everyone out with that problem, and if you enjoy it and it helps you out, please make sure to share it with someone else who could benefit from it as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. Whether you're printing your first label on pirate ship or if you've printed out 1,000 on eBay before, it's important to make sure that you have the newest version of the Dymo drivers installed on your computer. All the advice and help that I'm going to be giving you today is going to be based off of that software. Furthermore, you're going to want to make sure you have your printer selected as well, either through your settings preferences on a Mac or through your driver preferences on a PC. Once you have those all set up, we can move on to the next step. Okay guys, here we are in my back end of pirate ship, and I'm getting ready to print out a label. I'm going to go over here to the import from eBay option, pull up the orders that I have waiting for me right now, and it looks like I have one that's ready to go out. I'm going to go and click on the Get Rates button, and I'm going to punch in the relevant information for this order. It's going to be a padded one. It's going to be a 6x4, and lucky for me, this bad boy qualifies for first class. It's only a 3-ounce package that's going to be going out. I'm going to click on the Get Rates button. It's going to bring up my cost, and then this is what we're all here for. We're looking at the Buy Label option. Now, I'm actually on a Mac that I have not used the printer on it yet. So we're going to toy around with the options a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the option that works best for me in my given situation. As you can see, the default option here is a 4x6 shipping label, and if we drop down, we're going to see a few other options as well, but none of them are the standard 99019 label that we're used to using, the long ones just like this. And they're the standard for most of us eBay sellers. We've always been told that this is the printer to go with, and making them work on here, it's going to be a little bit different. So the option that I've been using is I go by the 4x6 labels. When we go ahead and bring up the print option, we're going to see a bunch of options here. Now it's using my other printer, so you want to make sure that you select your Dymo printer. We're going to see if that bad boy, there we go. So as you can see, it's really far off of the mark of what we're looking for. So if you go over here to paper size, you're going to see there's a ton of options, and trust me, I've gone through the list and I've played around with quite a few of them, but the one that works best for me is the postage 3-part, and then right below here we're going to click the option that says fit to page, and it's going to scale it out. Now obviously this does not look like your standard label, but here we're going to go ahead and print this bad boy out right now. And bada bing. So as I said, this label is going to look a little bit different to you, but this label is actually fully scannable by USPS. It's not the most preferred method, but it does get the job done. And if you have any concerns, I've sent out over 1,000 of these labels already without any issues at all. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tinkering around with these options, and but I will tell you right now that I believe this is the best way to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you check out some of our other stuff as well. I stream all the time on Facebook, the Facebook group Balderrama Pickers Lounge. We do a live...
That's all you really got to catch from that video. The rest of the outro is just basically for YouTube to get people to come on across. But yeah, I was asked to put together something, and that should be getting published out here soon-ish. So, and if you're wondering why... When I went to the actual print screen, I had like the little arrows and the screenshots. It's because on computers, even using capture software, when that it's called like a system window, the one that comes up for the printer, you can't actually capture that. It's technically above all the other content that's going on. So I had to do screen grabs and then crop and put everything in, and it was a whole long process. But yeah, that's going to be a great little bit for anyone that actually needs help setting up their Dymo printer, and which actually leads us to our next thing. I don't want to go long on this because you know, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there, and it's really unfortunate because there's some groups that don't know what they are doing out there, and it's really damaging to see. Oh my God, it pains me when I see people post up questions and then they get the wrong answer. Well, there was this group called eBay Thrifters, and I reached out to them, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. It was the same week that I was doing classes on pirate ship for 2 other groups. I did one for eBay Sellers Anonymous and eBay Helpers Helping Each Other, or eBay Helpers Helping eBay Sellers, something to that effect. But I had done 2 classes, and I contacted the admin of the group and I said, hey, I'm doing these classes. They're completely free. The service is free to your members, doesn't cost anything, yada, yada, yada. I'd love to be able to host a class for you guys and help all of your members out, help them all save some money. And I was promptly blocked and banned from the group before ever posting a single thing in there. The admin just simply blocked me outright. And I thought, I'm like, okay, that was really petty. That was really weird that happened. But I get it. They're kind of feeling me out, I guess, thinking that I had some type of sales pitch or agenda or motive. So I reached out to Mark Lowe, who was another one of the admins within the group. Who's the head admin, excuse me. He's like the owner of the group, and I messaged him, and I'm like, hey, you got a moment? And he never responded. And, you know, it's the message request was sitting there for a while, and then it was about 2 weeks later, I was sent over a screenshot from the group indicating that their admin, this Mark Lowe guy, had actually posted up asking, how do you make shipping labels work on a Dymo 450? Like, basically, how do you do exactly what I just put together in that video? And I found it really comical that was occurring. And both Mindy and Pamela, both of you guys went to my defense on that group, you know, and Pam went ahead and put up this really nice, lovely post talking about how I'm a pirate ship trainer and I'm one of the few people that can actually help out with this issue. And he got exceptionally defensive. And I went ahead and sent him another message just saying like, hey, I'd love to be able to work with you, still can help, yada, 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 sent him a friend request. And then he went ahead and blocked me as well. So I found it really comical that the guy that was, you know, has at the gatekeeper position isn't willing to admit that he doesn't know a topic well enough and take in any outside help, even at the expense of all of the members within his group. And we're a group of, I think, 1,250 or so members. and his group is about 6,000 members. At which point, I don't want to name names, but a couple of our members had actively started working to reach out to some of these members who truly needed help. And some of the things that I saw that they simply didn't know over there was really, really astounding to me. And, I ask you guys all the time, like, hey, tell people about our show, let people know what's going on. We want to keep everyone informed, keep everyone in the loop. We want everyone to be able to learn together, answer any questions that people might have. It's really, really important because, screw the brand, screw all of this. None of this really matters, okay? The whole purpose behind all of this originally was to help other eBay sellers out, help them find their growth, help them find their success. All of this is just basically to maintain all of this, and we're almost to the point of maintenance, but boy, is there a lot of people who still need help. And there's new people coming to the platform every single day, and they just simply don't know where to turn. So being a part of faulty groups is really, really dangerous. And it's not to, it's not to like keep everyone here in the Balderrama group, not at all, okay? Because most of the people that are here, you guys are smart enough to sift through the BS that you see in other groups. And I would be foolish. It would be absolutely foolish of me to say, oh yeah, if you're in my group, you can't be in any other groups. And I know there's some admins out there, believe it or not, who try and do that, but why would you limit access to information? Paul says, that's exactly why I no longer offer help. You should totally offer help, Paul. When people need help, you should give it to them, but you have to make sure that the people you're giving help to are not only in need of that help, but like genuinely wanting it, and they're going to appreciate it and utilize it. I see so much, biting at the throat amongst other sellers within these groups. And it absolutely blows my mind that there's so much infighting within these groups because we don't have that issue here. I mean, I ban maybe like one person every 6 months who just gets a little bug up their ass because of something else that's happening during the week, and then they mouth off within the group, and we got to take action. And, I'll even message them later and say, hey, like just cool down a little bit and then come on back. But yeah, some of these other groups, they just have horrible, horrible infighting, and they're really not out to help their group. And that's the thing I don't understand. Like, why have a group with 6,000 people if you're not going to do one of two things? You're either, because there's only two reasons to have a group. Okay, you're either going to actually genuinely help people, or you're going to do it for profit. Okay, there's no third. There's no third other than, I guess, what he's doing, just the raw comedy of having 6,000 people all under one umbrella with the guise that you're actually helping people. Because when you get to that level of people, you end up with a situation where there's a lot of people in there who don't know what they're doing. And we really have tightened things down here within our group. And a lot of you guys don't know this. We reject about probably 40% of the people that come to us looking to come into the group because we have basic pre-qualifiers. We have questions now, and you may not have seen those when you first came in, but we have questions that ask, like, are you actively selling right now? Are you interested in being, a part of what we're doing? Like, will you attend our shows, or will you watch them after, something to that effect? Because we want people who actually want to be part of our ecosystem and what we have going. Because I think it's somewhat special. I think we got a good thing going. So back to the thing that we were just talking about a second ago, and if you guys want me to go full circle, I can. I was talking about payment processing and how Payability was going to be offering a faster funding, and we actually have one more option for funding as well. And Paul had commented that he wants it to be done, or he preferred getting it done the Mercari way. And I asked him what that meant. He said, they pay, you ship on your dime. I use Pirate Ship and PayPal. Once tracking shows delivered, the buyer gets an email to provide a rating. If no rating is left within 3 business days, Mercari automatically leaves a rating. Once the buyer leaves a rating, your funds are available. No 30-day returns crap. Then you transfer your funds into your account of your choice. And that just seems a little bit long to me. I've actually got a better option for you that I think you're going to be all over here in just 1 second. Jane Miller says, and welcome back to the show, Jane. Always happy to have you. Says, many Facebook pages are admin by people drunk on power. It's all about control. Yeah, it really, really is. I don't get it. We will promote anyone that's doing good for the reseller community. I don't care if you're somebody who has, 100,000 followers, but if you're preaching good stuff and people can benefit from what you have to say, we're all about it. I mean, look at Corey Barlow. He's somebody that I met through YouTube
real hotshot kid, and he puts out, not only does he put out good content, but everything is factual. And that's super, super important for me, is just having a fact-based discussion. And that's why I released that new show, the Small Questions, Big Answers, because I really want to start honing down on the facts of each one of these types of situations that people are dealing with. Next, one of the questions coming up, I think it's coming up in 3 weeks' time, because we're going to release these probably one a week until the end of the year when I have a little more time to make them. But one of the questions coming up is, how do I go about selling a leather jacket with a Confederate flag on the back? And the comments on there, holy cow, were they astoundingly bad, like just insanely bad. And ones that could jeopardize sellers' accounts. And they were getting thumbs up and be like, yeah, great plan, great idea. It's like, why do you want to throw away your account? And then just some of the other stuff I see in other groups. We have a group chat that runs in the background. So I'm just going to explain that real quick. So this link right here, it's for Patreon. And Patreon is a way for you to be able to support me doing something that I love, and then you get something back in return. So if you're one of those people who says, man, I really like what you're doing, I'd love to learn a little bit more. Well, through the Patreon program, it's like 50 cents a day. It's absolutely nothing. You get full access to me as well as all of the other patrons, and we have a 24/7 group chat that runs. And because of that thing in the background, you don't see a whole lot of posts on our main page because most of us are in the background talking. And any one of our patrons can testify to that. But, we share screen caps of stuff that we see in other groups. And one of the things that we saw was a lady who had 8 eBay accounts, 8 of them, all linked up to the same PayPal. And I didn't even know you could have 8. Like, I knew you could have a few. I knew you could have 2 for a fact. I knew that 3 was possible. And then anything after that, I just thought was like fluff. Like, you would just, you'd have to ask or get permission. But no, she has 8 eBay accounts. And she was arguing that her way was the best way because she gets her free listings every month, and so she saves a ton of money there, and she runs 8 basic stores, so she gets free shipping supplies too across each one of them. And I was just thinking about the logistical nightmare behind managing 8 eBay accounts. I can barely keep up with one. I've got 30 items that are going to be going out tomorrow, and that's so far. It could be as many as 40. I can't imagine managing 8 stores at one time. And then when people see that, they're like, wow, she's got 8 stores. And people are thumbing it up. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Who would ever do that? Like, sure, maybe in a perfect world, she might be saving $100 a month. Okay. But is that worth logging into 8 accounts 7 days a week? No, not a chance. Not a chance at all. And then I can only imagine the security risk that she has too, because there's no way she's running 8 passwords across 8 accounts. They're all probably the same. So yeah, and that's what I was saying. So with the group chat, we talk about some of these things here in the background. We're going to try and bring more of it to the main page. And then we even have a second page that's not visible where we post all kinds of real nice stuff. So during the unfortunate Hurricane Florence, we posted up letters that you could send out to customers to let them know about the delay on their packages. We post up letters regarding feedback revision, special charts and stuff that don't get posted anywhere else. So there's a ton of like extra little perks if you do want to support the group. We're currently earning $380 or so per month. Our target number is $400 a month. That covers all of our production costs and our electric and everything like that. And then once we get past that, we're actually going to be able to start doing a little bit more. There's stuff in the pipelines that I really, really want to get to. So hopefully we'll hit that spot here soon. So if you're interested in doing that, there's the link over there. If nothing else, go check it out. And if you sign up after the first, you sign up on the second or something, you can try it out for a month. And if you don't like it, just cancel before the beginning of the next month and you won't be charged anything. Just don't do it spitefully, okay? We had somebody that we had to drop the other day who intentionally used a faulty credit card so they could get a free month. And that's just an exceptionally scummy thing to do. So please don't be that person because we will give you our time and attention for the entire month in hopes that you stick around. So let's look at these comments here. Judy says, yeah, like Suzanne Wells has good info, but she is a not so great person and seriously all about monetizing herself. Yeah, and here's the thing, there's it's okay to monetize a little bit, but you have to ask yourself, are you doing the greater good for the group? This money that I'm earning through doing this, boy, does this take a lot of effort to make. And I was even video chatting with Rachel before the show started, and she was watching me like just
writing out news articles for over 2 hours today just to get ready for the show. And then every time we make adjustments to the intro and the outro and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys noticed the intro rolled orange today, which means we had to completely re-render the intro. There's so much stuff that happens in the background and stuff like that that covers, that little bit of money covers our administrative costs, but we're so far from turning a profit. Now, here's the other thing too. With that $15 a month or 50 cents a day, we are working avidly to try and show our sellers how to recoup that money. If you give us, I don't think there's a single person, and I'll even bet my money on that. I don't think there's a single person in Patreon right now that can say they have not turned a profit from being a patron. Whether it be through private lessons or the private show or being told like, hey, this is something you specifically need to buy. You can buy it from a retail store and there's going to be a really great return on investment. Or like an example the other day, someone had asked about an item and being told, don't buy this item. This is not going to be as strong as people are making it out to be. And if you do, the bubble is only going to last this long. So, we offer some real top-notch advice in specific categories, and it's a really, really great thing for that. Pam says, OMG, I would hate to manage all of her accounts. Yep. I don't think you could pay me to do that. If somebody said we're going to split your account into 8 accounts starting tomorrow, but we're going to give you an extra $1,000 a month, I would be really hard pressed to even want to accept that grand. Because I don't think it'd be worth it. $33 a day, you have to log in and out of 8 accounts. And imagine just checking your messages. What would your lead time be on checking messages? It would be absurd. Tammy says, our group is great. I agree with you 100%. Mindy says cookies. Yeah, we need some more of those cookies. Those biscottis were fantastic. Thank you again. Tammy says, and you have the benefit of others' seller knowledge. And that's the big thing here that I feel is a little bit different is that, even when it comes to Patreon, we're mildly selective there as well, because it is an experts selling network. So we're looking for people who are, strong in a specific category or eager to learn, or they just bring a strong level of camaraderie and, friendship to the organization, which is important. So just a little bit of everything. And then Minnie says pirate ship alone. Yeah, no, truth that. If you're not using pirate ship, you're throwing well, here's the thing. For most people, if you're not using pirate ship, you're throwing money away. Now, there's certain few exceptions, and we've talked about this in group chat, where if you're using specific software that's integrating your payment management and your taxes and stuff like that, I can understand why that might not be worth it for you. But on the whole, it's most people are saving money using pirate ship because of cubic shipping. And even if you are using integrated payment solutions or integrated money management solutions, you should still look at doing one-off cubic labels when it applies, because they can save you up to like $20 on a single label. I've had that happen twice now to me. So that should truly help there. And then Pam says, I can't put a number on how much I have made and saved within the group. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's good that we got this teamwork going. It really does help everything out. So I can't wait to see where we're going next. And I've got some big stuff in the works right now. We always joke around about finding an alternative to eBay. Well, I am in negotiations with a gentleman who owns an alternative to eBay. He got really fed up with eBay one day, and he said, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. And he did. He actually built his own e-commerce platform, and it's pretty looking, and it works, and he has a good amount of sellers, and he's looking for more. And the thing is, there's a little bit of cost behind it. Just like with eBay, you got your store cost and your individual listing fees and stuff like that. And I'm working hand in hand with him to try and waive those costs specifically for our patrons. And I believe the cost is about $40 a month for a couple hundred listings. And I'm looking to try and waive that for our patrons if we can get them across. And there's going to be features like automatic importing of eBay listings and payment direct to your bank if you'd like. There's going to be a lot of like rich features that are going to be included within there. And I believe it functions off of Stripe as well. So there's going to be more information coming about that within the next, give it 30 days. And I do want to tentatively say this too, if I haven't explained this before. If those of you who don't know, my business got hit with a lawsuit last month. Here, I'm going to put up this so you guys have it. We started a GoFundMe, and I'm not asking any of the patrons or anyone. Nope, that is not the right. Why does that keep happening? I keep getting this link wrong. Okay. Yeah, I'll put up a link later. But yeah, basically, we got hit with a lawsuit, and we're trying to get the funding going. And I've been liquidating my game store and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of things are just running a little behind all week long. I listed up over 300 items this week, and I probably have about another 300 listings ahead of me for next week. So on the average right now, I'm shipping out anywhere between 15 and 30 items per day as I'm trying to get everything liquidated out. And this all has to do with that singular lawsuit that I'm dealing with right now. So as all of that gets buttoned up, I plan to go into 2018 doing this as a full-time gig. I plan to produce videos 5 days a week, and I plan to scale up Patreon and create more intuitive training programs and just a whole bunch of other little things. So it'll be coming in the future. Just bear with me a little bit. So up in the next news, PayPal has launched a new program called Funds Now. It's really, really interesting. This happened about 5 days after after eBay made their announcement official regarding Adyen and just made it super, super public to everyone. Some of the comments left on this, or some of the keynotes, is said that we don't hold or delay your funds, even if there's a dispute. Even if there's a dispute. Holy cow. And it says money from your daily sales will hit your PayPal balance in seconds for completed transactions. And I quote, you can count on it. That is a bold statement for PayPal to be making. Okay. Furthermore, they said in the world of payments, funding delays of 7 to 21 days for small businesses have become far too common. Those funding delays hinder the ability of small business to invest back into their businesses, pay their bills, and serve their customers. With Funds Now, we aspire to set a new expectation in payments that immediate access to funds should be the norm rather than the expectation for small business in good standing. In fact, Funds Now has already extended to more than 1 million businesses using PayPal at no extra cost. So Funds Now, basically, long story short, you're just going to get your money immediately. So now I've already been utilizing this as it is. I just didn't realize that they had branded it this way. But in my shop, we have a PayPal card reader, and I have a very, very trusted, long-standing PayPal account. My PayPal account goes back 12 years. I get a call from a PayPal representative once a year talking to me about working capital to see if I would like to take out a large loan, and they've offered me up to $120,000 worth of working capital in the past based on the volume that I've done to try and expand and grow out my business. And I've just told them, I don't have anything I could do with 120 grand right now. There's just nowhere to put that money other than buying limited edition 3DS consoles. But the interest rate on it, I think it's like 15%, so it wasn't worth it to me. So I have a great relationship with PayPal. They're fantastic, and I have a business account with them, which is great. If you don't have a business account, I would suggest getting one. There are some perks. When you call in, you get an American like 99% of the time, and you just get pushed right through. I don't wait on hold ever. When I call PayPal, I'm talking to an American rep within 30 seconds with my PayPal business account. So I would strongly, strongly suggest that. But yeah, back to the main thing, the root of the story again, is I do have a PayPal card reader in my shop. It takes the chip, it takes the swipe. Super nice. And the moment I take a payment, like the moment I swipe that card, instantly my funds are available. I can spend that money on a debit card. I can go online and spend that money. That money's just in my account. There's no hold. There's no wait. I'm not waiting till the next business day or anything like that. So e-commerce Bytes, where is the place that the story came from, they also put in, normally PayPal would release the funds 3 days after confirmed delivery, and if feedback was received, kind of like what we were talking about with payability. What else? The seller told us, but said when they called to report it, a PayPal customer rep said, due to an update in our agreement with eBay, we can no longer release payments that they have a hold on in your account. So basically what they're saying is that eBay has made some adjustments after this whole Adyen thing came out regarding the speed at which PayPal can release funds. So that's why PayPal is coming to the table and making these changes. Now, they reached out for additional clarification, and they left these 2 extra lines behind for them. They said, Funds Now is available to select PayPal account holders in good standing and may be withdrawn, suspended, or modified at PayPal's discretion. Exceptions apply, and to help keep accounts secure, in rare cases, certain delays may occur. So when they're talking about those certain cases, we're talking about instances of fraud. So if somebody has compromised your account, or they believe your account has been compromised, or if you get a massive influx of money that is definitely outside of the norm for yourself. So if you're somebody who generally has an account revolving around $3,000 to $4,000, and then you take in $10,000 to $15,000 worth of funding over the course of a weekend, they're probably going to put a temporary hold on those funds until they can verify that they're authentic sales. Because you got to keep in mind, this relationship between eBay and PayPal is starting to separate, so you're going to want to keep your eyes open for that. Judy says, can we all band together and somehow get eBay to stop this insanity with dropping PayPal? You know, I really wish we could, but here's what I think is going to happen. I think that, well, we already know that PayPal is going to become a secondary option for quite a while. And I think that eBay may get their head out of their butts at that point and say, okay, yeah, there's something happening. People don't want to use the platform. We're bleeding sellers, yada, yada, yada. Hopefully, eBay will get it together and make those changes. But if not, I'm hoping that this Funds Now program will be applicable. So here's how this is going to happen. So here's what I plan to do. And I'm just going to be very transparent here. I don't like banks, okay? I've found a loophole, and I'm sharing this with you guys because I like you guys. I found a loophole that allows me to sell online without a bank account. I know that sounds crazy, okay? But I'm selling on both Amazon and eBay, and I have no bank account whatsoever. All of my money lives within this very confined ecosystem, okay, without a traditional bank. And if you need information on how to do that, you can DM me after the show. It's not something I'm going to explain here on the show, but it is something that can be done. Now, with this Funds Now program, it's going to be running through PayPal. It's going to operate as a merchant account. So what's going to happen is if you have a seller who wants to buy something, you can make PayPal your primary merchant option. So when they punch in their credit card information, where's that money going to go? Right to your merchant account over at PayPal. And now if you're a Funds Now participant and you have a PayPal account in good standing, you're going to get your money right away again, as if nothing ever happened. So Judy, I hear your concern, but I'm going to tell you, this is big. This is big, big news. And I dare you to go find another group right now. Find any group on Facebook that's talking about this. It's not going to be out there. But this is going to be your long-term workaround if you don't want to give up your relationship with PayPal moving into 2020 and 2021. So when I read this, I was pumped. I immediately understood the implications of what this was. And it's basically PayPal saying like, oh, you don't want to do business directly with us? Not a problem. We'll do business directly with your customers. Not an issue. So I'm really proud of PayPal for stepping up to the plate and coming up with an alternative option. And I can't wait to see the marketing behind this and the branding that's behind it. Maybe we can even reach out to them and see if they want to do some type of direct deal for signups or something to that effect. I think it'd be fantastic. How are you guys not pumped about this? I'm looking at the comments here. You guys should be over the moon about that. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. That is exciting news to me as well. Gosh, guys. I don't know what it takes to get a rise out of you. I know it's a little bit late for some of you guys wherever you're at over on the East Coast and such, but come on now. You know, we always talk about this. We talk about the benefits of doing business as usual. We hate change, remember? I'm telling you right now, we got a way to avoid the change. What else do we got going on? We got some tiny bits. What are tiny bits? They're little headline articles that I didn't feel justified having an entire story, but I felt like it would be something good for you guys to know. eBay announced authorized eBay Reseller Program for vinyl records. So if you're somebody who enjoys selling vinyl records, I think that would be maybe Rick Barrett. I know he does a whole lot with concert tickets, but that might be up his alley as well. But if you're one of those people and you're just an absolute expert within the category, you can become an authorized reseller. How? Well, they didn't tell anyone. It's not in the article. It's not in eBay's official announcement either. Nobody knows. And nobody's an official authorized seller yet. So we'll come back around to that one when it becomes a thing. But just be leery of that phrase coming into the future. I think it's scary that certain people are going to get that branding and other ones aren't. Could spell a big shift within the market. Amazon launches in Turkey and expands its operations in Saudi Arabia. Who knew that Amazon wasn't in Turkey right now? I had no clue. And apparently they're offering free shipping on orders over, like, it said 50 Turkey dollars, but I think they mean 50 US dollars. I was looking at the article and I think that's just a glaring error because 50 TRYs equals, what is it? $7.50 American. So I think that's what it is. Jeanette Cap says, makes sense. Welcome to the show, Jeanette. Happy to have you. And then Mindy Coy says, love this. Yeah, let's. And you're on a delay. Yeah, those delays are beefy out there. I think we're running on what could be a 20 to 30 second delay today. And guys, we are going to be making the transition over here to YouTube. Go ahead and look for that coming into maybe November 1st. Or actually, we might launch our Halloween episode on YouTube this year. We'll see. And yeah, if you guys would like to suggest a costume for Halloween, for the Halloween episode, I'm game if you are. So let me know in the comments what you'd like me to wear for Halloween for our show, and I'll do my best to make it happen. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. So Amazon launched in Turkey. Cool. I mean, they're already filthy rich. I can only see this brand expanding further. And they said they're doing more to reach out further into Saudi Arabia. They're creating some brick and mortars. They're probably going to be blowing up the fulfillment stuff that they got going on out there as well. Yeah, Amazon's just going to keep growing. They're going to keep grasping out further and further. But the fact that they weren't in Turkey yet was a huge surprise to me. I'm sure all the people in Turkey are thrilled about it because now they're going to be able to get things like toilet seat covers delivered next day air. So big win for everyone the whole way around. Give me 1 second real quick, guys. I'm going to check a comment that just got sent in to me directly. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, well, thank you so much for that. You know who you are, and I truly do appreciate that. Comment in from Victoria Brown. I do not like someone telling me they're holding my money. Thanks, eBay. Yeah, no, I don't want anyone holding my money either. And those of you who owe me money right now, I would love it back as quickly as possible. But yeah, no, the reality is it sucks having to wait for your cash. But like I said, I've been part of this program for 4 years now. 5 years, where I just get my money as soon as I run a card. And if you need help setting up your business account or a merchant account through PayPal, let me know. You also get really strong tools as well regarding financing customers. So if you're doing local sales and you want to be able to finance somebody, you can say, hey, I can finance you, up to $1,000 today, so that way you can make your purchase. And that's all done in-house through PayPal, which is really, really great. Just log in on a computer, they fill out the form. If they qualify, you get the funds immediately, which is great. So if they want to spend $500 at your shop or $500 at your store, you can get those funds right into your account. They can take the items and they pay eBay. You don't even have to worry, or eBay. They pay PayPal, and you don't even have to worry about anything after that as well. So that's a great bit too. What else do we got? FedEx is moving to a 6-day delivery cycle. Yeah, FedEx is crushing it right now. Those of you guys who don't know, FedEx is they're on track to do the same amount of volume as like UPS, I believe. They're like really bringing their numbers up hard over the last year. But yeah, they're expanding to a 6-day delivery cycle to try and stay more competitive within the market. Good for them. And we got story time coming up as well. So I'm going to let you guys know right now, I'm going to be talking about video games for the next, I don't even know how long. Okay. So, but this is important to know. This is very, very important to know. So, got chapstick up, guys. I might be talking for a second here. So, with my game store having to close 3 weeks ago to the day, it was exceptionally disheartening going onto eBay and actually looking at where the market was. The state of affairs on eBay when I got on there was disgraceful. It was painfully bad. So bad, in fact, that I contacted eBay for Business and I asked for clarification and asked them, how can things be this horrendous on a category that used to be so rich and so robust? How good was the video game category on eBay? It was so good that 6 years ago, they reduced the cost of fees within the category because they were making so much money. They lowered it down by 1.5%. And I remember that day. I was with a buddy and he was a fellow video game reseller. I said, hey, let's go out to dinner and celebrate. No BS. Let's go celebrate over a 1.5% reduction in fees. Why? Because we were moving $3,000 to $4,000 worth of video games a month, and that pretty much paid for the dinner and then a little bit more. So I said, to heck with it. Let's go. Let's go have a great time. It was a big, big deal. Video games has been one of the strongest categories on eBay, probably since the dawn of eBay itself. But when I went on there, boy, is it bad now. And I touched base on this about 6 months ago on this very same show, and I said, reproduction games are going to destroy this platform and they're going to destroy this market. When I say market, I'm referring to video games as a whole, and when I say platform, I'm referring to eBay. When you take one of the strongest selling categories that a brand has and you allow it to get infiltrated with counterfeit goods from China and Japan being sold by American sellers under the guise of authenticity, it creates a recipe for disaster, I tell you what. I go on there and I start looking up some games that have been historically strong. Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo, casually sold at the $150 price point. Conker's Bad Fur Day for the N64, casually sold between $110 and $120. Those two games respectively, I had to list at $85 for Chrono and $60 for Conker's Bad Fur Day to be competitive within the market. Now, why is this? Why does this happen? Okay. Well, we have two ends of the market. Okay. We have the brand new stuff, okay, which is your counterfeit goods, and then we have our retro goods, our older stuff, the authentic, the original stuff. Well, the authentic stuff is the stuff that everyone wants. And the reason why the prices got so high is, imagine if we have 5 copies of a specific game up. As copy number 1 sells, okay, another copy gets added in, okay, and we just see this process happening. And then when there's a situation where 2 sell and another one doesn't come up, now we see a bump in the market. So maybe it's 100, 105, 110, 150. You guys understand how supply and demand works. I don't need to go deep into it. But basically what happens is the prices would slowly shuffle up over time based on this supply and demand. Now with the counterfeit market, any game can be made for roughly $3 to $5. And the pricing on those games is competitive against other people selling those counterfeits as well. It's a very interesting thing to see. But what happens is people go online and they're looking for games, and there's people who don't know that games are counterfeit or don't understand the discrepancy in pricing. Because over here you have a Chrono Trigger for $85, okay, an authentic one, and over here you have the same exact game, looks the same label, same cartridge, same color, being sold for $9.99. This one's marked as brand new because it is brand new. It was just made. Okay, it's cartridge only. And this the authentic one from 1992, okay, is worth the money because it's the real deal. But what happens is buyers come on and they say, hey, $10 for a brand new one? Screw it, I'll get that one. But before, they used to have to sit there and lament and make that long decision. Do I want to buy this for $85? Do I want to buy this for $100, $120? But the reality is, that $85 game, it's sold. And I've listed several at $120, $140, $150 at the peak of the market. Sold them all. No issue. Buyers will pay that money if they have to. Okay? The moment they don't have to spend that money, now we're playing a whole new game. We have a whole new dynamic going on where the counterfeit cartridges are not only are they there, but they're flooding the market. It used to go on there, you might see 1 or 2 people selling them. Okay? Like, let's take a game like Earthbound, for instance. If you have a cartridge only one, and I'm going to show you an example here in a second. A cartridge only is worth about $150. If you have a complete in box one, I just happen to have one here. This is my all-time favorite game, by the way. Okay, this complete in box one is worth about $600. No BS. I could list this tonight. Boom, instant sell for $600. No questions asked. Counterfeit now. You go online, $10. So, like I said before, you would look at the real ones, there might be 20 of them, give or take. The counterfeit, there might be 2. Now you go online, you look at the counterfeit, there's about 100. Nobody has 100 people selling the counterfeit one. And now you got about 50 people selling the real ones. So this uptick in authentic ones has to do with the uptick in counterfeit ones. The higher the supply of counterfeit goods, the higher the supply becomes of authentic goods. Okay, does that make sense? Because the sell-through rate isn't happening anymore. These products aren't selling at the same speed because there's a much cheaper alternative. So what ends up happening is instead of competing upward, 105, 110, 115, 120, and trying to get ahead of the curve, now we have people competing backwards. We call this a downturn. And this downturn is an aggressive one. Okay? The downturn is so fierce that I personally believe that eBay is going to single-handedly destroy the retro game category for collectors worldwide. I think they're going to completely tank it, because a game is only worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it. This is true of any commodity anywhere in the world. The biggest problem about all of this is that eBay is standing idly by and allowing this to happen. I have pointed out countless times to them. I've sent them screenshot after screenshot after screenshot. And you know what they tell me to do? They say, oh, just report the listing. I tell them, the time it takes me to report a listing, okay, 5 more other listings are up. It is impossible for me to compete against all the counterfeit listings, because we talked about 3 games so far. Of those 3 games, we're probably looking at about 200 counterfeit listings up on eBay right now. For the Super Nintendo library, for this library, okay, there's over 800 games. For the original Nintendo library, 600, N64, 300, GameCube, 800. Okay, these libraries are massive. Game Boy, the Game Boy counterfeits are coming too. Okay, look at games like Pokemon Emerald, which were trading at $40, which now, $10, $15, 15 for an authentic one. Blows my mind. But like I said, eBay is allowing this to happen. Why? Because their pockets are getting lined, and it pains me so badly to see this, because they're not looking at the long-term damage that they're doing. Last week, we talked about how eBay was stepping into the real world and working with retail locations to help get their product online to a worldwide market. How dare eBay look at the retail scene and act like they care at all? Because you know what's happening right now? Brick and mortar shops like mine, okay, are folding up right now because they cannot compete with online, because the counterfeit situation's getting out of hand. You used to have situations where games would come in and your normal buy rate was 50%. Let's just say that theoretically. Some people go as low as 25%. I was consistently 50%. A game that used to come in that would be worth $100, you could pay a customer 40, 30, 20, 50, whatever, okay? And you could turn this nice thick margin. They didn't come in all the time, but it was enough to keep the lights on. It was enough to entice customers. Now, people aren't excited the same way about these games. When you lose your excitement for a game because it's not worth as much anymore, the collector appeal, the collector hunt, and you start losing collectors, okay, that's less customers coming into these retail stores, and you're going to start seeing more and more shops folding up. The reality of the situation is, even if I didn't get sued, I was planning on closing because the market was taking a turn. But the thing is, I didn't realize just how bad it was until I came onto eBay to start listing my stuff. We have games here that I have $70 price tags on, that we've sold here for $70, that at one point in time were $70 on eBay, and it pained me to list it the other day for $21. $21. That's more than a 70% reduction in value because of the counterfeit games. Because the market itself just isn't losing value as a whole. Okay, it's not just happening accidentally, but eBay is going to single-handedly crush the market. And that's where I have to say right now, to anyone out there who's collecting retro video games, sell. Now is the time to sell. Now, your high-end stuff, your super premium, okay, your complete in box, your like $400 plus titles, okay, you want to hang on to those? Hang on to those. Those are still going to be great long-term investments. But if you've got a lot of middle-of-the-line type stuff, you got a lot of stuff that's, you know, and I hate to call it middle of the line, but $60 and under stuff now, liquidate. Get rid of all of it, and get rid of all of it as quickly as you can. And I've never, with such, veracity, insisted that people dump their product, but now is the time to dump. Now is the time to get rid of everything. I am, we talk about this silver lining with the lawsuit. Okay, it's great that you get to move on to better things. That's wonderful. I'm going to move on to better things one way or the other. The silver lining is the fact that my eyes were opened to the state of the market right now, and that I was given this gem of an opportunity to dump my goods before they became completely worthless. Absolutely worthless. Okay, so it's a horrible issue. Let me look at some of these comments real quick. Jeanette, thank you for commenting again. I didn't think you could sell anything counterfeit on eBay. Yep, that's the problem. eBay is turning an absolute blind eye to these counterfeits online right now. They just simply don't care. They're saying, well, it's being marked as brand new. It's being, and the word that they're using that pains me is reproduction. Okay, reproduction game cartridge. But the problem is, it's highly illegal. okay, to sell one of these cartridges. Why? Because you don't own the original rights to the game data that's on there. You don't own the rights to that software. So you don't have the licensing or the ability to sell a reproduction or a secondary copy of that original software. You aren't Nintendo. You shouldn't be able to do that. And unless Nintendo steps up to the plate and says, hey, we don't want anyone selling our software, which they're not going to, okay, and I'll explain why here in a second, then it's going to continue to happen this way because eBay is making money right now. Every single one that sells, they get paid still. So it's not in their interest to take these listings down. We saw the same thing happening internationally with sellers of evading taxes and the e-commerce platforms not doing anything about it because they're still getting paid. It doesn't matter to them. So when it comes to this, Nintendo isn't going to do anything either. And the reason Nintendo's not going to do anything is because they don't get paid for it. Okay? They're not going to get a cut of this money on these reproduction cartridges. They did go after a website that was selling these ROMs and taking them down, the software and such, taking them, and they took them down because that site had advertising on it and they were making money off of it. Okay? So a little bit of action there. But yeah, so that's the thing. The prices are plummeting. Dump your stock. That's all I can really say on it. So don't mind me getting heated on that one. Pam says, I know, right? Mindy says, but you're getting killed by eBay for selling fake coats. Yep. There's certain things you're allowed to sell counterfeit, apparently, and other ones you're not. But yeah, using the word reproduction as a scapegoat way being able to list these types of things online, it needs to come to a stop. If you guys have any great suggestions as to how we could put an end to this, I'd love to hear them. I'm going to crank that one little segment on its own out. I'm going to make it its own video, and if you guys want to send that out to eBay, that'd be fantastic. I'll send it to eBay for Business myself too, but it has to stop. What else do we got? We got more training on the way. That's always a good thing. If you guys have any questions, now's a great time to drop them because I don't think I have anything else left to talk about. While we are waiting to see if you guys have any questions, I just want to let you know this episode is being sponsored by AmazonUPCBarcodes.com. And when I say sponsored, I want you guys to understand they're not paying me a darn cent, okay? And I basically, we only generate revenue if you guys go and buy some barcodes off of them. But if you don't need barcodes, then that's fine. But Amazon UPC Barcodes is the #1 supplier for Amazon barcodes on the internet. With the changes that have happened on September 18th regarding eBay's catalog, you may want to look into getting yourself a handful of barcodes. If you go over to AmazonUPCBarcodes.com and punch in promo code BOLO, B-O-L-O, you'll get 10% off your first order, and you'll help the group out as well. So it's absolutely fantastic to do that. And if you're new to Amazon and you're setting up a brand new listing for the first time and you need some help with them, you just give them a phone call. They'll even send you out a nice little letter with the information. You can reach out to them, and they'll walk you through your very first listing at no cost at all. And that includes even if you buy a small pack of barcodes. I think they start as cheap as $2.50. On top of that, all their barcodes are GS1 verified, and they're guaranteed for life. You don't have to pay any monthly on them either, which is absolutely great. So you save a ton of money getting your barcodes that way, opposed to buying them one at a time. If you buy your own GS1 barcodes, they're like $100 a pop. So being able to get a stack of 10 for like $2.50, it's an absolute bargain. Mindy says, why can't they Vero them? Because there's no money for them to Vero them. There's no incentive for them to spend the labor to have somebody sit down and send out Vero notifications to each and every single listing that goes up. That's the problem. There's no reasonable way to undo what has happened so far, and there's no reasonable way to stop it. Judy says, I still do not understand this buying of barcodes. So let me explain something. So let's say my name is Jay, and I produce tiny glass pumpkins. It's Jay's Tiny Glass Pumpkin Mercantile and Emporium Company. So we make these tiny pumpkins, and we want to sell these pumpkins on Amazon. We have like 100,000 of these bad boys. So this is a brand new product that's coming to market. So when I add this product to Amazon, okay, or if I add this product to eBay, or I want to add it to both and I want to sell it in a retail setting,
I need a barcode for this item. And you have to get your barcodes through GS1, which is this massive company that manages all the barcodes in the world. They're the number one supplier of, I think there may be one or two other small companies, but they are the big granddaddy of barcodes. Now, if you go and buy your own barcode and register it yourself, it costs about $100, and you have to pay on that barcode every single year to get it renewed. When I made my coupon book, let me see if I got one in here. When I made my coupon book, okay, I had to buy a barcode as well. This barcode right here I owned, and I owned it for about a year, and then I was told that I'm going to have to keep paying on it, and my company was tanking, so I didn't renew that barcode. So, yeah, it's expensive. It's like $40 a year, $30 a year to maintain it, plus the $100 purchase cost. But now, if I decided to, I could say, hey, rather than paying that egregious cost, I'm just going to go straight to AmazonUPCbarcodes.com, and I'm going to buy a 10-pack from there. It's $2.50. You're probably wondering, why is it so cheap? It's because they buy hundreds of thousands of barcodes at one time. And you might be somebody that says, well, I don't just have this pumpkin. I've got this pumpkin in 15 different colors. And you want individual barcodes for each one. Barcodes also known as SKUs. You would want 15 different SKUs for the 15 different products so you could keep track of them. And you could show them differently on a website, whether it be eBay's catalog or Amazon's catalog. You want somebody to be able to find it through your barcode or find your variations through your barcodes. So I hope that explanation helps. If you have more questions, don't be afraid to ask them. I'm going to go ahead and start our countdown music for us right now. Gives us to 3 minutes together if you have any questions. And I do really want to thank everyone who took the time to come in here today. I know that intro was probably one of my sloppiest intros ever, and you don't even want to know. There's 2 people watching who know why I was actually late, and it's ridiculous. But, I think it's because we went from a 15-minute pre-roll to a 10-minute pre-roll, and I just wasn't ready for it. So, Judy says, so I sell some clothing and shoes or miscellaneous items I can't find barcodes for. I have to buy them for another company who makes the stuff just so I have one. So the reason I'm suggesting barcodes for eBay is because as of right now, all electronic items within a handful of primary categories are going to require your catalog listing to have a barcode with it. Now, we talked a couple of weeks ago about different tools and tricks for trying to locate that barcode, but if you have an item that you want to list up and it requires a barcode and you simply cannot find one, I would suggest buying one if the item is worth listing up online. Now, me working with Amazon UPC barcodes, they supplied me with about 25, which is about 20 more than I'm going to need right now. So if you're a patron and at any point you need a single barcode, let me know. I got a stack of them. So not only do you get the barcode, you also get the MPN number as well, I believe, which is the manufacturer part number. You get like a paired thing, or I don't know what it is. You get 2 barcodes and then like the little welcome letter as well. So you're going to get everything that you need to be able to punch into those catalogs on eBay or Amazon. Oh man, what a show today, guys. But yeah, like I was saying, thank you to all the patrons for making this show possible. We already, talked about all these things over here, but yeah, it's super appreciated. I've told you guys before, I've got a lot of stuff going up on the back end that I'm dealing with, obviously the lawsuit and the liquidation and everything, and it meant that I wasn't able to go sourcing this week, which was an absolute pain. And believe it or not, I still have my entire bin of stuff from last week's show over here to my side. I didn't even get a chance to almost dropped that. Didn't even get a chance to process my Amazon stuff, and I didn't even get a chance to get that stuff listed on eBay. So I'm going to have to get around to it soon. Don't forget, too, your guys' shipping discount codes are going to be coming up here within the week. I know we talked about it within the group as well. Don't forget to use that. And yeah, let's make sure we have a kick-ass week. I'll tell you what. Let's roll that. Let's roll that one more time. I'm gonna give us one more countdown. And then we're going to kill the show after that. What do we want to chat about? Does anyone have any pressing questions that they've been wondering? Actually, we can do the chill song. Let's do this one. Ah, yes, a much better cooldown song. We are still taking submissions currently for small questions, big answers. So if you have a question about that. But guys, man, have you guys ever listened to a song and it just made you want to go on a grand adventure? That's the position that I'm in right now. I had somebody reach out to me again the other day and show me an RV and say, hey man, you should look into this. And then I realized that RV was actually less than the cost of what I pay for rent for 1 year here in California. This RV was $14,900 non-negotiated dollars, and my rent last year was $19,600. And it really got me thinking. It's like, man, I'd love to go on an adventure. I'd love to just kind of get out there, see the rest of the United States, drive around, start visiting patrons and live streaming from all over America. But boy, is it difficult to pull the trigger on that. But man, I can't tell you how excited and eager I am for January to come around so we can really start going on some adventures together. I was telling somebody the other day that I don't even want the money. I just want the work to be over. I'm just tired of doing it right now. I need that break. I don't know about you guys, but let's just push through. Let's make this Q4 a really, really strong Q4. Let's get these big, big numbers. Start hammering down on those death piles. Start tightening up what you're doing. Clean up your eBay store. Clean up your Amazon presence. Resolve any cases that are left behind. Any USPS disputes you need to do. Get your shipping supplies ordered, and let's just bang out this Q4 and make it a good one. And let's go into Q1 2019 strong with a lot of money in our pocket and prepared to do some great buys. Because I'll tell you guys, January buying is fantastic. So guys, with that being said, thank you so much to everyone for taking the time to tune in. And let's nail this outro because we screwed up the intro. If you guys don't make that money, someone else will. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Have a great night.